Good morning. Today we're going to read Joshua chapter 14. It's a short chapter, so go ahead and pause me and read Joshua chapter 14. Okay, Joshua chapter 14. Yesterday we talked about dividing the land to the east among the two tribes, Reuben and Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. And today we're going to start the talk of the land to the west of the Jordan. And so Eleazar, who is the high priest, Joshua, and the heads of these 10 tribes that are left. So that's the half tribe of Manasseh and the other 9 out of the heads of them get together and they cast lots. Which is kind of a God-ordained and God working through these lots, if you will. Some people think they're dice. Some people think they're rocks with signs carved into them. They're not exactly sure what they look like, but they're supposed to... and they did show the will of God. So they divided up the land with these lots. And remember that the Levites had no land because the rest of Israel was supposed to take care of them. They had the responsibilities and the honors of being the priest. So they did not have land. They only had these towns, which are called sanctuaries. Maybe I'm thinking of something different, but anyway, these safe towns, and they only had enough land for their flocks and herds in order to feed themselves. So they didn't have land. They only had these places in these cities. So the next little section is important. Okay, let's go back. The last little section is important in the next chapters. The chapter we just talked about and the next 20 to chapter 20. So about 5 chapters are all about, they're very detailed, but they're about God fulfilling his promise. And it's very detailed. God wants us to know, yeah, I did it, and here's the exact way I did it. Down to the northern slope of a mountain, down to the waters of the city. So everything is done in detail. And when God makes a promise, he does it in detail. That's kind of the whole gist of the next part of Joshua. But this little excerpt in here where Hebron is given to Caleb. So Caleb kind of steps up away from his tribe, and he says, hey dogs, you know what? I'm 85. I was with Joshua. We were the only two that said we could take this land. And when we did, Moses swore to me that I would have the land. So I'm 85 now. I was 40 then. I've waited 45 years. I'm ready for my land. And even though I'm 85, I'm still kicking. So, and I'm kicking pretty good. So give me the land. So Joshua said, you know what? Absolutely. You can have this land. And so Joshua got the land, and then the land had rest for more. And again, we talked about this earlier. It's almost like they rested, and we'll see where they just didn't quite finish the job because either they were tired or they got lazy, or they got the big head, or they just didn't have the willpower to go on. For some reason, they rested. And there will still be wars, but it won't be an all-out attack again. So Go ahead, if you have time, and glance over the next 5 chapters. You don't have to read them, but we're going to do probably 2 or 3 chapters a day, starting tomorrow. The lesson to remember is God fulfills his promises.